All right. So the next item is the interview candidates for city boards and commissions, and the first interview is for BOZA candidates, and Ellen Gower is here to interview. Let me just open it up to the committee here for any questions.
Just for context, Chair, if you don't mind, I think I just want to restate that the city has 3 vacancies currently in the Board of Zoning Appeals. One of the 5 current members is interested in another position. I would suggest that we keep that person in the committee just because of the amount of vacancies that we have. We only received 3 applications for BOZA, and we have 3 current vacancies. So we'll have a 3rd vacancy once Ms. Elizabeth Campson is sworn into council in January. So Ms. Ellen is the first one that you'll be interviewing today. We have 2 more, but just wanted to remind you that you're filling 3 current vacancies as of today.
Thank you for that. All right. Ellen, I'll start off. What made you interested in BOZA?
Well, I moved here about almost 9+ years ago, and in the upstate where I was living previous, I was involved in a lot of nonprofits and governing of those types of boards, but I've never been involved in a community and what's going on governing it. So being down here 9 years now, and I still am involved with a lot of other stuff, and at the same time feel like it's time to figure out what's happening in our little community here. It's small enough, I think, that I can contribute. If we're talking about really big stuff, it would take a lot of pruning, I guess, to get me up to snuff. But I feel like I can contribute, and so that's why.
Do you have a particular interest in, I guess, in zoning?
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. I looked at the committees. I knew that I wasn't interested in ATAX. And I also am part of the DNR core team of Turtle people with Mary Pringle. And so I knew about her environmental committee and people that she has kind of talked about being involved there. And so looking at planning, and I was looking at the zoning, and either of those, both of those, are interesting to me.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ellen, I was looking over your application and resume, and you certainly have a very strong resume and background. And I noticed that you not only been active in the Exchange Club here locally, but also as a volunteer down at MUSC, the neonatal intensive care unit.
I was there this morning, watching those little babies.
You're to be admired for doing that as well. Just wanted to ask you, because with your background and resume, it looks like you've done a lot of different things with different people, but just think about a time that where you've been serving with a group and it involves deliberations, consensus building. How do you go about doing that within a group dynamic to get someone to reach consensus or agreement on maybe an idea you may have?
So I feel like and hope that in a situation like that, I would not be an authoritarian type of leader, but rather reach out to and hopefully build team consensus so that then we could together make a decision that would help the benefit for whatever it is that we're looking at. I feel like, that is the best way to do that, is to have everybody on board before we institute something different. And I feel like I have those skills as a result of being involved in a lot of stuff previous that hopefully I could do that.
Okay. On the Board of Zoning Appeals, I think a lot of the work goes to looking at different codes, different zoning ordinances and things of that nature where people are coming for either asking for variances and things of that nature. So I'm guessing that it can be contentious at times, or people are quite passionate about wanting to get something done with their home that may or may not be in compliance with the codes. How would you handle a situation where, well, first of all, are you interested in something like this as a sort of a compliance and also evaluating variances to our codes? How do you feel about that type of opportunity, and how would you handle maybe a difficult situation where somebody's pretty adamant about wanting something and the committee has to say no?
Well, I think that the way the Board of Zoning Appeals works, I mean, it's pretty spelled out as to what is okay and what is not okay. And if someone is wanting a variance and it doesn't meet the criteria required to meet and have a variance, then it's almost a non-issue. If that person is pretty upset and contentious, then I think the discussion needs to be about what can we do to kind of remedy this feeling such that maybe going forward, this person or persons can look at resolving what the zoning board felt was out of alignment, to maybe make it in alignment and be able to work through it that way. I looked at the city's Board of Zoning and thought it was interesting that there were like 7 different zoning groups of like square footage of your lot and this, and I was like, I have no idea what the square footage of my lot is. And so it was so fun to kind of delve in and figure out what the square footage is. It's still a very small lot, but it was nonetheless, it was kind of neat to say, oh my God, there I am. And that means I can have to build 25 feet back and 25 feet from the back and 10 feet on each. So it was kind of interesting to realize that those types of things are there. I mean, the homework has been done to get us to this point, and so now it's just a matter of taking that out into situations where there needs to be discussion about issues of zoning and ordinances that follow.
Thank you.
Have you attended any of the Board of Zoning meetings?
No, I did
Okay.
one online. There was one, I think, from May or June of this year.
Yeah, we don't always live stream
Oh, okay.
those, do we? So that's the one
Yeah.
committee or commission that we don't typically live stream.
Okay,
So,
okay.
All right, do you have anything else you'd like to say to us?
I'd be interested in being a part of the community. And I feel like I am in a volunteer type of role with the Exchange Club and with the Turtle Team and other the church and that type of thing. But I think I have a lot to contribute, and I think that this is the time of my life that I'm ready to do it. So I hope that you will agree.
All right. Well, thank you. I think that unless anybody else has anything.
now, I'd just like to just reiterate that, in looking over your resume and the things that you've done in the communities you've lived in the past, it looks like you're the type of person that really likes to be engaged in community activities and in good works.
I do.
And charitable events, that sort of thing
Absolutely.
also. So
Yes.
anyway, I certainly appreciate you coming in as well.
Good, thank you.
So a
Thank
little
you.
bit about the process. So
Yeah.
we'll make recommendations to, on December 5th, right, to fill the committees. And then it would be voted on January the 2nd.
Okay,
So that's kind of the process.
I'll be here.
Yep.
Good, thank you for your time.
Okay,
Hope
thank
the
you.
rest of your afternoon goes well.
Okay, thank you.
You too, thank you.
Desiree,
Yes, sir.
we got some email today about someone that used to be on BOZA that may be interested in coming back to BOZA, but didn't put their,
Yeah, I saw that note. He has not submitted an application, so we have nothing
to base that on.
to base that on other than, the current member who spoke to him, and to him, he indicated that he may be interested. But
Okay,
other than that, we haven't received a note from him or an application, even after after the deadline.
yeah. This was Pete or somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So our next applicant is Robert Miller. I'm gonna go.
He's here,
Go get
so.
him, yes. taking a seat here. Very informal, even though it looks formal. And then the chair will start asking you some questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Good
Bob.
afternoon.
Hey, Bob?
So we, just a little bit of background, where you're interviewing for Board of Zoning Appeals. We have 3 open slots on that committee, so that we're interviewing for, potentially 4. So I'll start off, and just tell us why you're interested in Boza.
Well, the reason I'm here is I always like to give back to places that treat me so good, and I haven't done a lot in that respect. I think the one thing I did a couple of years ago is to form the Coyote Coalition to try to identify ways we could make things safer and better. And I enjoyed that, but I just didn't have enough time to pursue anything bigger at that point. And so this is a step in the right direction, I think, to ask to be able to help. And hopefully I'll be able to help in this capacity, but maybe that'll lead to more. So I look forward to being a stronger member of the Isle of Palms leadership for years to come.
Have you ever had any experience with zoning? I don't
No.
think so, right?
No, I mean, this is going to sound silly, but my dad was chairman of the Board of Adjustments where I grew up in New Jersey, and that was all about zoning
Yeah.
adjustments. And so I used to follow them to these little places that had, their barn was too close to the road or that kind of thing. Now, to answer your question is no, but I did get in a little bit of a indictment or introduction early on.
Yeah, all right. I'll open it up to the,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Bob, when I first got to know you, it was with the Coyote Coalition, and I think you did a fine job there, sort of
Thank
heading
you.
that up, and you had a good team working with you and working hard to deliver some insight and education about the issues we had at that time, which
thank you.
you're to be commended for that, for sure, in my mind.
Thank you.
I look at your resume, and of course, your executive leadership, professional experience. You've done a lot of things. We've been involved in a lot of different careers, and obviously have been successful in those too. I guess my question would be more along the lines of, when you get into a group like Board of Zoning Appeals, and it's going to take some deliberation, some consensus building. How would you go about making that happen? How do you achieve consensus within a group, given the background that you have?
Right. Well, a lot of it's with communication, clear and open communication and honesty, trying to come to the right solution, not the one that you like the best, and understand the law as written, the zoning laws, and then where this has fallen out of bounds in some way. So it's more collaborating with your fellow members and being honest and forthright. And not doing what you think is right for you, but what's right for the committee or the community and the committee.
Okay.
Bob, good to see you.
Hey, Scott.
And you have a very impressive background resume. The Board of Zoning Appeals is a lot about compliance and getting into the ordinances and understanding them. And I'm sure there are some passionate folks that want to have some variances or things done with their homes. And how would you handle that situation where you've got somebody that has maybe come down the road a bit on their home build or something, and they're looking for a variance, and you gotta basically maybe say no or give them some other compromise, and how would you handle that?
Well, I'd learned as much as I could about both the law that they're running into and also what their intentions are. And try to see if there's a way to do it within the bounds of the zoning law and still satisfy them. Now, a lot of times that won't be possible. So just, again, kind of back to let's sit down and try to figure this out and be honest and open with them on it, and hopefully they are too, they respond well to that. But if you have to say no, you have to say no, because you can't say yes to all the variances. You'll have a mess. And we've seen lots of towns with messes, right? So I would not, I would not aim to break the law, and not break the law, but rule as a variance. But I would probably be tougher on it than easier, just because I've seen what can happen if you don't be tough.
Now, how would you go about, we have quite a few ordinances and building codes and things of that nature. How would you go about getting up to speed as quickly as possible? We've got quite a few vacancies on BOZA, and I think one of the concerns is that.
Well, I'd sit with the experts first. I've talked to Elizabeth a little bit, so she has experience in this. But I also talk to staff. If they were generous with their time, that'd be great. And learn and read and look background of cases and try to come up to speed and then ask questions.
Good.
Have you been to any meetings ever?
Any of those
Yeah,
meetings?
any BOZA meetings or watched any?
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not. I've been to council meetings and
Yeah.
presented and listened
Yeah.
but
Any other questions?
No, not really. I was going to make another comment here that, Bob, I think with your background, I mean, certainly very strong business background, leadership background, and it sounds like that your approach, based on what I'm hearing here anyway, is going to be to ask the tougher questions when you're a part of that. If I'm correct in hearing what you're saying,
Right.
is that you want to make sure you're doing the right thing for the community, and you intend to
yeah, all right.
to take a serious and tougher stance on some of the variances that come across.
That's right.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to tell us, Bob?
No, I really look forward to this because I haven't gotten an official feet wet position. Although I've spent a lot of time on talking about the issues and things like that casually. And so I really look forward to this and trying to make a contribution, make the place a little bit better than it is already. And if so, maybe do some other things too. I know one of the things I'm proudest of, what you were talking about, Rusty, is with the Coyote Coalition, is we were able to get Wild Dunes and the city to sit down together and come up with a joint plan. And that led to coming up with a plan that's now on the website as our official plan. And so that felt good, that we had people together that really wanted to work, but they weren't together. And so it helped a lot. And that's the thing I'm most proud of from what we did.
All right, well, the process is that we will make a recommendation out of this committee that'll go to council on the 5th of December.
Okay?
And then that will not be voted on until, and enacted until the January 2nd council meeting.
Okay? Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you, Bob.
So we're moving through these faster than the
We're
time.
going through these real quick.
Susie Wheeler's next, but is she here?
Well, we gave everybody 20, 15
Yeah.
minutes, 20 minutes for each.
Yeah,
And now it's 3:13, and she's scheduled for 3:40.
yeah.
Should we take a pause, or?
We can take a pause. I don't think I see her. I didn't see her outside. I did print
Yeah, she
her
sent these,
resume. She
yeah.
sent, I know you all have it in your.
can print it
you
out.
may have
I
just
printed
it.
one already.
Okay.
You
well,
did?
Just
I
in
got
case
one,
y'all hadn't. But I will, what I'll do, maybe we can take a pause and then I'll contact those folks that are scheduled before, if they're able to come a little bit earlier.
That'd be great.
Pretty good.
I think we don't need any more than, say, 15 minutes for
Yeah.
sure, but it's even 10, I mean, it's,
Okay.
what are you gonna ask?
I agree.
Y'all did, yeah, 2 and 15 minutes, so, we'll do that if you don't mind just putting, saying to the record that you'll go to a recess.